Legendaries, hip hoorah. We gotta catch all the legendaries to get the place to go fight, God.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You actually have to catch all of the. I forgot. We literally were dealing with them 3 parts ago, and I don't remember their names. The lake guys. The lake
Yeah,
guys.
Mesbrid, Azelf, and Luxie.
You don't have to catch the Sword and Shield and BDSP tie-ins though, in order to do Arceus, right?
I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. You can get a Shaman and Darkrai for having saved data from other Pokemon games, but those are not required.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah.
You know,
And
you know what? It used to be really fucking impressive for one trainer to just catch, a couple basic ass legendary birds. But nowadays, we gotta catch, like, everything. Fucking everything.
yeah, you know, in like the stereotype of is like the old man's like, oh, back in my day it was so hard, but nowadays it's just like, wow, you have to catch 1,000 Pokemon. Back in my day, there were only 150. It was way easier for me when I was growing up. Literally, the only time people can act like that. Well, actually, no, they can act like that more often. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Heatran.
I
I
was I was getting more at how many goddamn legendaries there are per game now.
I think the thing is, Gen 4 ballooned the amount of legendaries per game. Um,
Yeah.
in Gen 1, there's 5. There's the three things. The three things. What? The three birds, Mewtwo, and Mew's a secret. In Gen 2, there's like 6 or 7 because there's the two birds, the three
One.
dogs, and Celebi. So that's 6.
Yeah. So
Unless
there's
if
one more.
yeah. In Gen 3, there's a little bit more because, again, people like legendaries, so let's put in even more. So now you've got 3 legendaries, 3 weather Pokemon, and Latias and Latios, and the mythical. So that's like, what, 9? And this game has something like 15. It's the 3 lake Pokemon, Heatran, Regigigas, the 2 um, time and space, Arceus, Shaman, Manaphy. I'm at 10 already, and I know I'm forgetting some. Oh, the lake Pokemon, that's 13.
Next
Uh,
we go for God. Nope, nope. We have that one too.
yeah. And,
Fuck.
I mean, I will say, like, one of the cool things in Heart Gold and Soul Silver that they added was that there were hunts for old legendaries, which I think is kind of neat. Um, And I mean, complaining that, oh, there's too many legendary Pokemon. Like, they're trying to add side quests and stuff, which is, I suppose, like, not a bad thing. But it does have the side effect of making me less attached to each one. Because, like, Keytrain here is literally like he's just a guy in a volcano, and that makes him important, I guess? Question mark.
It's just kind of a dodongo, really.
Great.
But okay, so my issue is that the more legendaries get pushed into the spotlight and into the story, and especially in such quantities, the less important the legendaries themselves feel.
I prefer when and this is actually something that I liked about Scarlet and Violet is that the legendaries, a lot of the legendaries aren't in the plot. Like the cave things with the swords in the ground that you pull up, they're completely optional and they're not related. They have like their own little mini story, which I think is fine. Um but it's just like something you explore and find and you can completely miss. Which is similar with the Reggies and with the legendary birds in Gen 1. And I guess the dogs in Gen 2 technically count for this too. Like, you release them, but that's just it. I think it's just because they didn't want you to be able to accidentally catch a level 40 Entei, like the 1 in a million chance. That's the first Pokemon you run into when you start the game. Um,
The The other thing, though, in Scarlet and Violet's case, though, is that the legendaries in that...
Oh, Cresselia, I completely forgot about this annoying
what
asshole.
the shit is this?
Yeah, this is the roaming legendary from Diamond and Pearl, who's a pain in the ass because she's a roaming legendary.
Oh.
And you get swirly, confused Mario Party controls where they backwards everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so the legendaries in Scarlet and Violet, setting aside the sword set, which are like kind of just entirely a side quest. The legendary the plot-based legendaries in that game aren't actually like legendary Pokemon so much as they're, just plot Pokemon.
Yeah, like there's the time travel Pokemon, which I did think was cool. I was a little confused at first about them because I was like, why can't I evolve Donphan into Robot Donphan? And then it's like, oh, it's because it's technically not an evolution; it's from the future.
Robots. Boom,
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
I like how Donphan is already basically a mammoth Pokemon, but in the prehistoric version, you have an even more mammoth Pokemon.
as cool as the concept was, it was a missed opportunity to not have prehistoric versions of the already prehistoric Pokemon, because the idea is that like Aerodactyl and Kabutops and all of those like dinosaur Pokemon are like our guesses at recreations of them. So it would have been really cool if we either saw like what they actually looked like when they were brought back from the past, or you just saw some of them. Like you could just catch Kabuto.
It'd be like
Zero.
it'd be like fucking Jurassic World Dominion with the furry T-Rex in the prologue versus the furless T-Rex in the present day.
What happened? I didn't see Jurassic World Dominion. What happened? That's the third Jurassic World movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Like, there's dinosaurs all over the world, right? Like,
no, it kind of ignores that.
It doesn't kind of ignore it, but it doesn't really lean into it the way it should. But it does sort of like give you an idea of what society is like with dinosaurs roaming around. But it doesn't in a really Knights of the Old Republic RPG adventure globetrotting way, where instead of like seeing a bunch of disasters going on in the world, what you're instead doing is going to this foreign country and seeing the characters navigate this seedy underbelly of a city, and there's a black market dinosaur fighting ring there.
What?
Ooh.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't get into Jurassic World 1. I think I was kind of expecting it to be less stupid, because it's kind of a stupid movie. But maybe if I went into it more like with the mindset of I want to watch something stupid, I would actually enjoy it.
Well, the Jurassic Park movie franchise gave up entirely on trying to be even vaguely intellectual after people didn't like it when they did that with Lost World. So
so there just needs to be dinosaurs and more. But that's the frustrating. That's what makes the original Jurassic Park such a timeless movie. Is it's not just a dumb dinosaur movie. Like there's a lot of thought put into it. It's like the perfect science fiction movie where it's analytical but still hopeful about science. Like it acknowledges the dangers but also the wonder of like why people want to learn more about the world in the first place. Yeah. Regigigas doesn't suck in this game, right? Because there's no abilities, so its stats aren't cut in half for no reason. That's nice. Oh, or it could just miss every attack it does and be a pushover. I guess that's also something it could do.
I'm gonna confess something. I don't really get the Reggies.
I don't either.
They're golems. That's about it.
they might be based off of some mythology that I don't really know. But yeah, Regigigas, unfortunately, despite having a cool design, runs into a problem where despite being a legendary Pokemon and having good stats, he's completely ruined by his gimmick and how Pokemon works. So in the main games, his gimmick is that he has a ability that chops his stats in half for the first 2 or 3 turns of the fight, which is really bad when most Pokemon fights only last 2 or 3 turns. So yeah. There's some gimmicky stuff you can do. Like if you're in double battles, you can swap his ability with your opponent's ability. Similarly to how they do those sorts of things with slacking and whatnot, but it's more cute than actually good, and not worth your time most of the time.
Huh. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, agreed. And so he's like supposed to be the boss of the other 3 Reggies or whatnot, but oh,
In the event that you can actually wait out those first 2 turns.
Oh, he's good, but then he's also probably taken so much of a beating that
he's not going to survive the next turn anyway.
Yeah, you'd need to use rest, and then he's a sitting duck.
But like, feasibly, could you set up a situation where he can't be killed for those first 2 turns?
I don't remember his move pool, but I think like possibly. But again, it's like you're trying to instead of trying to make a bad Pokemon good, you could just use a good Pokemon instead. Which is the frustrating thing about competitive Pokemon and why I fell out of it so hard is that ultimately, if you want to be competitive, you just need to use the best ones, which goes against
strong
why
Pokemon, weak Pokemon.
Which is why, like, every goddamn team I fought in Sword and Shield had a fucking Tyranitar.
I mean, I do like Tyranitar. I remember when he was low tier. Can you believe that? Wow.
I just got so tired of seeing his stupid face.
I'm trying to remember, did they buff him or something? Because
I don't even know. I just know that he was everywhere.
You can't catch these guys without fighting them, right?
Yeah, you have to engage into battle with them.
Yeah, okay.
Mind you, they up the catch rate, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I remember that it didn't take like an hour each time, which was nice.
So what happens if you end up like actually knocking them out?
You just leave the area and come back.
Oh.
Yeah. It's certainly a lot more convenient. In the really old games, if you killed them, sucks to be you. They never come back. And starting like I think either Gen 4 or Gen 5, if you killed a legendary by mistake, you could beat the Elite Four and that like reset them. And you could come back and try again. But you were always just best off saving before.
Right before, yeah.
Yeah. I have so many memories of going to the power plant in Red and Blue, saving my game and reloading 5 or 6 goddamn times because I accidentally knocked Zapdos out.
Yeah, that's more common than you'd think because all 3 of the birds are very fragile.
Yeah, and they have such a low goddamn catch rate that you really want to get them to really low HP when you're trying to catch them.
Yeah.
So I would end up poisoning them, actually, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and there's no false swipe in Gen 1, so you can't make sure that they're at exactly 1 HP.
Yeah.
Look at you catching these legendaries at like 1 ball with them not even in the red. Wow. You kids today have it so easy.
You know what I used to wish that Gen 1 would let me do? Use an antidote on my opponent.
You know, considering how janky those games are on the inside, it might be possible. If you do some shenanigans.
Well, I mean, I played enough Final Fantasy at that point to know that in Final Fantasy I could target healing spells and stuff at the enemy monsters.
You see, that was something that I didn't know that you could do because I didn't play Final Fantasy until I was a teenager. So when I was watching like Let's Plays and stuff of the old Final Fantasies, they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna cast Cure on the zombies and they die," and I'm like, "Huh? What? You can do that?" But that's actually not too out of left field, considering that's a Dungeons and Dragons thing. Undead monsters are weak to healing magic in that game too.
Slap a zombie boss with a phoenix down.
Yes, this is something that you were like, if you had been playing pen and paper RPGs, is completely like obvious to you. Oh, look, they're talking about dinner plates. Oh, man, see, our tangents are relevant.
We gotta go get wood to get a plate.
Oh. They really hated that people were making fun of the
blank stare in Sun and Moon, yeah.
Honestly, I think this is worse.
Wait, what? You've been using that as a cutting board?
Well, so she says.
Okay. Well, that was an oversight. Okay, so next dungeon. Let's go.
No, not a dungeon. It's the same dungeon we were at last time, actually.
Oh. Wonderful.
Yep. Oh, wait, no, it's not even the dungeon. So I forgot.
No, we have to talk to him first.
Yeah, plot.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
Listen. He's just lore, plot.
So what is
backstory.
Volo's deal here?
He's a merchant and he likes archaeology.
Huh.
In fact, he'd rather be doing archaeology than merchant stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, Giratina is the third version legendary, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like Pokemon
He's like the
Satan,
devil.
and Arceus is Pokemon God.
Oh.
Which means I have no idea what the hell Darkrai is supposed to be, but you know.
Can you tell he's evil yet?
Wait, what? Volo
He laughed
evil?
maniacally. He laughed maniacally for a second there.
I thought that this guy was sketchy the moment I saw him. I was like, I don't like you. You're up to something. He's too interested in what you're doing. He's like, oh, I sense potential in you. Yes. So the fact that he turns out to be evil was not surprising to me. And he's like, I wanna find out more about God and be like God. And it's just like, I sense a degree of hubris on you, young man, who's 4 feet taller than I am.